Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys don't notice me being sick. I'm trying to get through it and still record some banger videos for you guys. So with that being said, I am going to be doing the main storyline Resident Evil games, or at least the ones that matter, the ones that you see right here. And I'm going to do a tier list of them. I haven't done a tier list in a while, so I'm going to get right into it here with the first game, RE1. And RE1 is a good middle one to start, obviously. But anyways, RE1 wasn't really much for me. I mean, it was okay, but I did like the remake more. I played this twice and beat it on both scenarios, and that was all I did. But yeah. Alright, so next up here we've got the classic Resident Evil 2, and for most people this is obviously an S tier, including myself, because I definitely played the heck out of this game when I was younger. It was actually the first Resident Evil game I've ever seen, so shout out to those people that actually started on 1, because I started on 2, but yeah, great game, deserves an S. Okay, next up is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and I think this one is a perfect one to just put in the middle of these, the A rank, because thinking about it, I've always felt that 1 wasn't the best, but 3 was better than 1, but 2 was better than 3, so that's why I'm going to have to put RE3 in the A list and leave it there, so yeah. Okay, back to the tier list. Next up is Code Veronica. Code Veronica is a great game for sure, but I didn't know really where to put it. So I just kind of put it at the top of the A and figured why not, because I don't want to say that it's a better game than 2. It's just too nostalgic for me, but I will put it over 1 and 3. So with that being said, I do think that Code Veronica should have been the 3, and it should have been the real sequel, but it really wasn't. It hasn't even been remade, so obviously Capcom don't care about it, but I do. Okay, now we got Resident Evil 0, which I don't really have much of an opinion of Resident Evil 0, I'll be honest guys. So I'm gonna put it at the B list actually, because it's a good game. I just didn't really care for it so much because it's super hard to play Rebecca and Billy and swap off between them. I've only beaten the game like twice anyway, so I haven't even really played it much, so that's why I can't have much of an opinion, but I'm actually going to put it at the top of B, just because I know it is better than the very original RE1, but yeah. So next up, I have RE1 Remake, and this one, I just knew that I wanted to put it above 0 and the original RE1, so I put it at the bottom of A tier, but I think that's a pretty good deserving spot for this game. I've beaten this game quite a few times. I've beaten both scenarios a few times each, and it's a very fun but challenging game in my opinion. That's why I do it every so often, but yeah. Okay, so next up I've got Resident Evil 4, and obviously Resident Evil 4, I'm going to have to put that right up there in the S rank along with RE2, because this is one of the first Resident Evil games that I ever played at a young age that got me into the whole entire franchise. So very nostalgic for me, and I love the game, so can't wait for the remake. Next up on the list is Resident Evil 5, and if you know anything about me, you know I love Resident Evil 5. So I gotta put that right up at the top of the S rank. It's the game that literally got me into the franchise, and anytime I ever do a video about these, I will always say that. But, I mean, it wasn't the first one I played, but when I finally got Resident Evil 5, I was hooked on any other Resident Evil game that came out after that. And what do you know, the game that came out after that, you see, I put it at the fucking C tier because it isn't really that good of a Resident Evil game. A lot of people do hate on it. I actually don't hate it that much, even though I did just put it at the C list. But anyways, I do really like the storyline, and I can actually find myself enjoying it whenever I do play it. Mercenaries I really like, so it's not the worst. Okay, so next is Resident Evil Revelations 1, and I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about me after this, but I gotta put it at the D list because this is the one and only game that's actually in this tier list that I have never played, and this isn't my gameplay. That's usually my gameplay, but for games that I just don't play like this, I gotta get other gameplay because I've never played it. Okay, next up is actually one of my favorites in the entire franchise. It is Resident Evil Revelations 2. I know I've never played Revelations 1. I was young when it came out, and I remember seeing that it was only one player, and at that time with RE5 and 6 being hot, it wasn't something that I wanted. But Revelations 2 came out, and I got it right away, and I've liked it ever since, and literally within the last year I've gotten into raid mode, which has given me a whole new joy for the game. Like, I literally wish I would have gotten on a raid mode a long time ago because it is super fun. But yeah, B tier for Revelations 2. Okay, so this next one might get a lot of hate from you guys, but Resident Evil 7. I didn't care for it. I put it in the C tier, but I even put it below RE6. Yes, I know. It's in the C tier, below RE6, because I just didn't care for the game. But moving on from that awful first-person game, we've got Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Resident Evil 2 Remake was a really good game. I'll have to put it at the S tier, not above the other ones that are already in the S tier, but I'll put it in there at the bottom of the S tier, sure, why not, because I have put a lot of hours into this game. I'd have to say probably about 400 hours I've put into speed running this game, playing on a hardcore difficulty, unlocking the infinite items, and everything about the game. I've spent a lot of time. It was a good game. So yeah. Back over to the tier list maker here. We've got Resident Evil 3 Remake, and this is another one where I did like it a lot, but I would have to just put it respectfully at the bottom of the B tier. Even though I have put a lot of hours into speedrunning this game, they missed a lot of stuff. If they could have included the clock tower as an actual playable section like the original, then that could have made up for a lot of good gameplay. And I'm with those RE3 fans that say that the clock tower needed to be added, because I agree. Okay, last up here on our list is Resident Evil 8, because RE4 Remake hasn't come out yet, so we can't really give an opinion on it. But for RE8, I didn't care for it so much. I'm gonna have to put it in the B tier, just above everything except Revelations 2, because Revelations 2 was a really great game. And 8, I've beaten it about 3 times, maybe 4 times, and I just didn't really care for it. I think I did go back and play it once because they came out with a third person. That was the big thing of why I didn't like Village or 7. I kind of like didn't care for 7 at all, but 8 was a little bit better. I just don't really know how I feel about the first person and all, guys, but other than that, that is my tier list. Hate it or not, that's my Resident Evil tier list for the main storyline games. Or at least these are the ones that are important to me. I hope this was a good list, a good, important Resident Evil tier list for you. If so, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.